Okay. 9. Ooh, my computer's gonna die. Hold on. Yeah, I was curious though if he'd send me another frame or if it would come separate. Because like when he sent me a DM back, he's like, I'll send it to the same address. I'm like, okay, you do that.
Huh. Yeah, that's fun.
Okay. Well, welcome back, everyone. Sorry about last week. We were a little disorganized about the link. I never even thought of that, so sorry.
Well, that was my bad.
Yeah, and like the messages on the ship like were coming so like all of a sudden they'd all come at once, so then I was confused. Okay. Well, before Dina gets started. Oh, okay. So tonight, Jackie Hart was supposed to speak to us. She's another one-star diamond coach, but she sent me a message and she has laryngitis. And it's kind of funny because she sent me a voice message. So like I could hardly even hear her. I'm like, yeah, I get it. So she's going to speak, I believe, on the 24th instead. So next week we'll still have to come up with a plan because we switched next week's call to this week's call. And then on the 17th, I'm excited because Bailey Kai is going to be sharing with us, and she's currently ranked 109 in the network, but her big thing is Canva, and she's like the graphic queen. So any recent graphics you've seen that I use came from her. She shared her entire Canva team with me. So I'm just making copies of everything and like changing it to look like me. It's pretty cool. So she's going to explain how she uses graphics in her business. And then Jackie is going to share with us on inviting and growing your network on the 24th. So just had to do a little bit of switching, and that is just life. Okay, so Dina and I found out something today after a lot of research. And I finally just had to chat because we were seeing so much conflicting stuff. So you can still sign people up with Ultimate Portion Fix until April 29th, and they will have access to the live stream. They made it sound like it was going to be like by April 1st. If you don't do it by April 1st, you don't get live stream. But even if you sign up by April 29th, you get access to the live stream because it's under the nutrition tab. And then also you can join the coach test group for round 2, which would be with the 21-day Fix Extreme. So it would be like getting the live stream workouts a month early because they don't come out till the end of May. So that's why I'm still promoting it in my stories and in my posts. And then I will always be promoting this nutrition because that's what I use. And people either have two choices. Like, are you going to do 2B Mindset, or are you going to do Ultimate Portion Fix? So that was kind of new information, if that makes sense. And Super Weekend is coming up. I know, Sarah, do you want to share your details?
Yeah. So I'm going to have mine in Tioga on the 14th from like 1 to 3:30. And I've lined up Chelsea Wise to speak. She's going to speak on like social marketing, branding, and kind of talk a little bit about Canva and graphics and such too. She's also a photographer. So I don't know, she's going to do a social media class for us. And then I lined up another lady to speak that went on a Success Club trip. And so she's just going to talk like 15-20 minutes about like how you can earn your Success Club trip and get your points, and just a little bit about the trip itself and just like how important it is to attend the live events when you have the option to. And yeah, and then we'll just do a 21-day fix, remix our real-time workout together at the end.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
And then for anyone who's catching the recording, I'm holding one near Minot. on the 13th from 12 to 3, and I literally have no plans yet. I was hoping they would come out with like a morning meltdown workout, but I haven't heard of that. So yeah, but I will, it will be well planned. I just have been gone and it snuck up fast. So I have contacted some people. Okay, a little recognition before we go on. Congratulations to Shelby. She has earned her 2nd month of Success Starters, so she hit Success Club at least 5 in months 1 and 2 of her business, so she's 2/3 of the way to her free summit ticket. So congratulations, Shelby. And then a little bit of volume recognition. Savannah is at the top of our board for last week, and lots of other names out there for helping themselves first and then others. So congratulations to everyone up there. And then this is where our team ended the end of March. Sarah and Shelby with 8. So congratulations to you girls. We changed 14 lives last month. So that is just awesome. Okay, I did upload a new calendar because I'm not sure we had originally scheduled a You Can Sit With Us week next week. I don't know if we still want to do it. I thought about maybe every month is too much for those, but maybe what if we alternated with one of those and like a coach sneak peek? Just an idea. And then Sarah's going to get the sugar detox week ready for us starting on Easter Monday, the 22nd. And then we did find out that the Vegan Recover is coming out in May. It will be chocolate. And then they also said on the Success Club trip that whey packets of Chocolate Recover are coming out. I think it's going to be like in an 18 pack. And it was so weird. Tyler and I went to a session at Success Club trip with Jericho and Carl talking about Morning Meltdown and the Vegan Recover. And then at the end they said like, there'll be more announcements. And then there never were any more announcements. So I don't know, but I still see like on the corporate calendar that there's a top secret fitness program coming out in May. So I don't know what that is about, but okay. So we already kind of covered like future calls. So I think that is it. I will stop my share. And Dina, you're going to take it away on vitals today for us, right?
Yes, so I am going to talk about the vital behaviors. They were updated late last year. They have kind of evolved since I started coaching. And I'm pretty sure this is my favorite list so far. And I thought what we could do, if anybody's interested and your downlines are interested, is to run a vital behaviors challenge. I've taken part of these before, and you know, we have boot camps and accountability groups for our clients every month. And the idea behind this is sometimes we need accountability for our business. And you know, I've been a coach for 5.5 years. I still need accountability, both for my business and my fitness and nutrition. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the new, improved vital behaviors and also what we're going to be doing in the challenge. And as far as the challenge goes, we're going to keep it very simple because this business, it's not always easy, but it is simple. And if you focus on the vital behaviors, it will work. You know, I am very guilty of overcomplicating this business and thinking that I needed to do this and that and everything that I saw online that somebody else was doing in courses and just all this training and learning, that I lost track of these 4 things. And it has been a struggle. Every time that I kind of stray away, my business suffers. So I know I personally need this, and I've been doing a lot better, but I think we can always improve. And that's why corporate is always taking care of us. I have been in other network marketing companies that I'm sure they did a wonderful job with their independent consultants as well, but Beachbody, like, top notch in my experience. They are always trying to help us. They spend millions of dollars on advertising so that we don't have to. We just have to be ourselves and share our stories, and that's one of the vital behaviors. So what I wanted to talk about is why did corporate come out with these? Well, what they did was they talked to a lot of the top coaches, a lot of the successful coaches, and they really just got a good feel for what the best practices are. That's really what this is. And I kind of like to look at it as our job description. And I personally have had a lot of JOBs. Like, I have been in medicine, I have been in education, I have been in corporate, I've been in banking, in even car sales. And every time I started a new job, I had a new job description. And it was always like this bulleted list of to-dos and details and this and that, and overwhelming. And at the end, it would always say, like, and more responsibilities as needed. Now, as coaches, like, we do a lot more than what's going to be on this list that I'm going to share with you. But I can't tell you one of those job descriptions that fulfilled me like this does. And I also can't think of one that focused so much on helping me be a better person while helping others be better versions of themselves as well. So it's the best job description I've ever had, the one I'm the most passionate about, and the simplest. So the first one is to be proof of the products. Now, I found a detailed version of this in the back office, and I was going to share a screenshot, but it's a full page of items, so I'm just going to figure out a way to share it with everybody, or, Sarah and Lindy, you probably already have it, but instead of just listing the 4, it's actually going into detail about how to do these things and why. So be proof of the product, yes. The goal is to attain and sustain a healthy lifestyle for yourself that also inspires others. There is the focusing on being the best version of yourself and sharing your story. So we want to complete Beachbody programs. We want to start them and finish them as they're outlined. Use the nutrition, love the workouts, and share your story. Like, we talk about how coaching isn't selling a product. You're selling yourself. You're selling an experience. You are sharing your life. What you're doing is showing others how you incorporate it into your life. I don't know if it was Carl that said this or who, but fitness doesn't have to be your life, but it can change your life. And by showing others how it's helping us, changing us, and just keeping us better people, you're going to inspire, you're going to motivate, and you're going to get people to join you. The second one is to connect, invite, and follow up. Now, I went back and forth about if I was going to share what the older version used to be, and I thought, for this one I will. It used to say invite, 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 which we have to do. We have to invite every day. But there's so much more to inviting. And I have personally gotten stuck in that too, where I would send 100 invites in a week, but my follow-ups sucked. Like, I was losing track of people. I didn't know how to close. I spent so much time forming that I never really got to an invite sometimes. So it's like this whole encompassing thing of, you first have to connect with somebody. And I do believe you have to still do the forming. Social media has come a long way since I started coaching. Forming is still super important. You have to get a feel for their pain points, you know, where do they struggle the most? And then, you know, make sure that you're relatable. You want to share your struggles. Nobody can relate to perfection. So don't always share just your highlight reel. Share your struggles, but share how you have turned them around into your success. And that is an invite in itself. And those invites become a lot easier when you're sharing your story, because you're going to get more confident. The more you do of anything, you're going to get better at it. You're going to get a better feel for what questions to ask to make it all about them, meet them where they're at. And then we say that the fortune is in the follow-up. So those three things are essential to the whole step process of having somebody join a group with you or the opportunity. So the goal here is to help at least 3 new clients every month with a Beachbody solution. And here again, keep it simple. Like, I love, again, what they do for us. They came out with the new Success Club system tracker. And for this challenge, this is what we're going to be sharing daily, because it's simple. It goes into more detail than the last business activity tracker did. So it's going to tell you some more specific guidelines on, like, how long should you spend doing this? You know, what's a good place to start when you're a new coach and you don't really know the first things to focus on or the right things to focus on. This is going to detail all of it for you. And we're just going to simply be sharing this every day. It's got your vital behaviors right on here. So that has us all set up to do that. You also want to always have a group that you can invite people to, you know, whether that's a free group or a challenge group. I love Lindy's system. She has like this perfected funnel system, and we learned about it on a trip a few years ago. And she can maybe speak to it a little bit later if she wants, but it just works really well because you're connecting with people, you're inviting, you're doing that follow-up, then you're transitioning them into a free group, and then hopefully transitioning them into a challenge group and the opportunity. So obviously not everybody is going to join the challenge group. Not everybody is going to join the opportunity, but you've planted seeds from that very first connection to your last invite on an opportunity invite. So, and lastly, they're encouraging us to enroll at least 1 new coach a month. Now, the last versions that I've seen of this hasn't been that specific in at least 1 coach a month. So I thought it is a little bit more tangible than what we've had in the past too. The third one is to get people results. This is a really fun one because we're sharing our story. We know that these programs work. And really what we just want to do is we want to be healthy ourselves and just mentor clients to do the same. So we create the results for ourselves first. And that's both health and fitness and your business. So commit to being in business a year from now. We always, since day one, since that I started, I've heard this, be here a year from now. And Lindy and I joke that we're the be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Like we're lifers. But when you're a new coach, be here a year from now. Develop a compelling vision and purpose for your business. We talk a lot about finding your why. And that is what's going to keep you in the game when life gets hard, because life is hard. It's not always going to go the way you want, but when you have that bigger picture always at the forefront of why you're doing this, it's going to push you. It's going to make the hard days a little less hard, and you're going to feel so empowered because you worked through that. So I don't know if you can really see this, but every morning, as part of my miracle morning, I look at my vision board, and I've got several versions of this, but it's that daily reminder of what I'm working for. And I focus on every picture for a few seconds, however long it takes for me just to sink that in and be like, yes, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm up at 5 a.m. This is why I'm going to work out. This is why I'm going to eat right. You know, every decision that we make affects somebody else, whether it's our family or our clients or our teams. And when you get that accountability in, you're looking at your vision every day, it really helps you push through when you're tired and when you don't feel well and when life gets in the way. So be proactive in finding solutions. I think, you know, this one is very twofold, because I think in order to keep this simple, we have to find duplication and we have to find systems in order to coach our clients and coach our teams. So we want to use things like the Success Club tracker and just focusing on the vital behaviors to offer the best solutions that we know work. And then find joy in coaching and have fun. That one reminds me of Lindy. She is hustling for joy. And that's one thing about this business too. If you lose track of the fun and the joy in it, it gets really hard. And that goes back to your vision. You know, you don't want this to be hard and something you dread. And I mean, it will be hard. I shouldn't say that, but you don't want it to be something that you dread. You want to share, you want to shout it from the rooftops that, you know, you love this business. It's changed your life. It's changed your family's life. And that's creating results for yourself. Create results for your customers. The bread and butter of what we do are challenge groups. And if you're not, I've been stuck in this trap for a while. If you're not running groups that excite you, they're probably not going to excite anybody else. And people are joining you for the community of that group. You do work one-on-one with people, but it's so much easier to support them when they are working out and eating healthy with a group of other people in it with the same struggles, the same successes, you know, building each other up and just doing it together. I think that's one thing that I always missed with, I have tried a lot of different weight loss things, and I was a Weight Watcher member for probably a decade. And my favorite part of Weight Watchers was that weekly meeting, but it was so short. It was like not even an hour of sharing stories and, you know, learning and growing, not even an hour every week. But that was my favorite part. I was not super successful at Weight Watchers. And I think for all the other different diets that I tried on my own, they didn't work. This was the missing piece. Challenge groups, accountability, community. It sounds so simple, and it is, but you've got to make those challenge groups fun. You've got to make them effective, and you've got to make them like be something that people want a part of. There's some coaches that are on our team that do an awesome job of creating FOMO. And I think that just sharing your story and like when I say story, share your story, but also like social media has changed so much now that with Instagram stories and Facebook stories, you can share even more and be more real in your stories. Create that FOMO of what people are missing out on if they don't join you, and just build that excitement and get excited yourself, because you're going to bring that energy when you are. And then we want to recognize and celebrate achievement, even if it's something small. Like one thing I love about running groups in the Challenge Tracker app is that you can see what everybody's logging. Like you don't have to sort through posts and see if so-and-so posted on Tuesday and who went MIA and who drank all their Shakeology every day. You don't have to look for that like you do in Facebook. You just go to your person, check your logs, and there they are. So you can give them shout outs whenever they do anything that you want to recognize and just build somebody up. Recognition is huge for people. Even if I've been running a really long-term group, and some of the girls in there have over 400 workouts logged and like almost as many shakes. It's just crazy to go in there and look at and see all that. And we're not talking just one or two people. We're talking a handful of people that are just still rocking it after 2-3 years. So exciting. And then create results for your coaches. You want to assist new coaches to earn their first commission in their first 10 days. And that sounds a little overwhelming, but it is so important, because I think what can happen is if a new coach starts and they get so caught up in needing to do this and needing to do that, they're probably already overcomplicating it. So if you can just help them simply help a friend or a family member and get that first commission check that they're excited about, that's going to be a huge starting point for them. I know when I first started coaching, I wasn't actively coaching, and I think it had been about 3 weeks, and we were having our Black Friday sale, and we don't do this anymore, but I shared my link on my Facebook page, and I had several people buy things, but one of them was my sister-in-law, and she bought a stability ball, I think. And I didn't think much of it at the time, but whatever it was, a week later, I got my first paycheck, and it was like $13, but it was so exciting because I was like, oh, I can make money off even selling a stability ball. And she was excited about it. She's like, I don't know why, but I've always wanted one and I never think to buy one. And so now I have one delivered to me, and that was like the starting point for me. It sounds kind of silly, but it was one sale, one piece of equipment. She was excited and I was super excited. And from then on, I started my first challenge group that very next month, and the rest is history. Know your coach's business goals and support them in achieving them. I think that is really important too, because it's overwhelming to think about, personal goals and business goals. And when you think of all the things that you want to do, it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to, I talked about this in a post actually earlier, and it kind of still relates, but it's the start that stops most people. So when you set those huge, scary goals, and, maybe as a new coach, they're not huge and scary, but they're still overwhelming enough. You don't know how you're going to get there. You as their mentor can help just get them back into this, get them back into the vital behaviors, and really coach them on what the Success Club system tracker is. Don't just hand it off to them and say, here you go, do these things. Go through it with them. Talk about why each line is important, and, really talk about how they can fit this into their day. It doesn't have to be, if they don't have a full hour and a half to just knock out this list, teach them about Power Pockets and doing the 20 minutes of connections and follow-ups in a Power Pocket, and then doing the next section later. You are really the one that can guide them and make sure that they don't get too overwhelmed. They focus on what they need to, and they'll see smaller wins, and those smaller wins will just compound over time. So keep training them, keep them accountable, and then too, teach them how to run successful challenge groups and coach sneak peeks. So the more you're doing that, the better you're getting at it. You need to teach your coaches how to do that as well. Just because somebody was in a group with you doesn't mean that they know how to lead a group. That is just an important piece of once they start. If you have just short little system on when I sign a new coach, here's what I do, and just go from like 1 to 10 and, start small. Okay, the last one is personal development, which I hate to say it's my favorite because they're all super important, but I don't think that the rest work very well if you're not doing your personal development, because that is what's going to help you have the right mindset, the right energy, the right focus for everything else. And I don't think there is a time guideline on here of do at least 20 minutes a day. I don't think there's a blanket rule for this. I think you make it your own. If you need more than 20 minutes and you have time for more than 20 minutes, do that. All total, I probably do 30 minutes to an hour a day. And that I've just found that that's what I need. And I've also found that if this is one of the easier ones to kind of let slip when you're really busy, like you think, oh, the others are probably the income producing activities, so I better focus on them. And before I know it, it's been 3 days since I did PD, and I'm like, I don't feel right. Like, what's going on? And I realize that's why. So I think it's important. And what I do personally is I start every day with my miracle morning. And that's my personal development. So it can look however you want it to look like. But if you haven't read The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, I highly suggest it. It's got a great suggestion for an outline on how to just start your day. And it's centered around something called the Lifesavers. And I have to think about it, but I think it's silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, reading, and scribing, which is journaling. I don't necessarily always do it in that order, but throughout my day, because sometimes I do my workout later and sometimes I journal later too, but those things are getting done every day. And for me, silence is prayer and devotion. However that looks to you, it could be meditation, whatever you need to do to just be silent and start your day works. So that is definitely my take on PD. I too think that I see this a lot in other groups where people are like, okay, give me all your personal development suggestions. I am going to share, if I can track it down, I'm going to share a list of books that are separated out into topics that are common struggles. And I love that list because, people can suggest a book to you, but if it's based on something that you're maybe not struggling with in that season of your life, it's probably not the best book for you, right? So I think it's important to really identify, okay, first off, where am I struggling? And then find a book, find a podcast, find something that really can help you in that area and focus there. I too like to be reading one for personal and then one for business. And it gets a little overwhelming to be, really soaking it in for both. But I've found that I kind of need both. Like I can't focus just on business growth and not personal, and vice versa. So that's what I do. And I love podcasts. And if you struggle with reading, get Audible. It's amazing. I get free credits for other books. It has been a total game changer because I can just listen to something when I'm getting ready or driving. So you definitely have time for personal development. And then the last part of personal development, which I love that they added this because I don't think it was there before, is to attend all events. If you listen to the Wake Up Call this week, Jessica talked about the importance of attending events. Lindy and Tyler were just at the Success Club trip. We're having Super Saturday coming up. Events have literally changed my life. Like I even remember the first Super Saturday that I went to. I think it was in somebody's basement, and it didn't matter. It was still amazing and fun, and just connecting with other like-minded people it didn't matter where we were, how many of us. It is still life-changing, still powerful, and still very much important for your business. And I can't even count all the events that I've been to now. We've got Summit coming up. Summit is one of my favorite times of the year. And, you know, they will pump you up, they will inspire you, they'll motivate you, educate you, all the above. Attend as many events as you can. Make it easy. Okay, I think that's all I had. So what I thought we could do is we start on Friday. Seems kind of odd to start on a Friday, but I think like going through the first weekend, because I think weekends can be tough, is important. And then we'll run it 3 weeks. And if anybody wants to keep like a message thread going, we sure can. So I'll share more info to Lindy and Sarah, and then we can go from there. So do either of you ladies have anything to share?
Thank you. That was good. And I didn't know that like bigger list existed. I was just going to say that the hardest one for me is recognition. I don't know why it is. I just think it's hard to do it every day because I think it always needs to be like super public, like in a social media post or something. But it, like Dina said, it just can be in our groups. But I'm part of this like crazy graphic thread, and someone shared in there like these really cool recognition ideas. So I will post them for you, but I just wanted to share them here because it's a graphic that's already made. All you'd have to do is like put it into PicCollage and write people's names on it or whatever. But it's like weekend warriors for logging a weekend workout, early birdies, like for workout before 8 a.m. No excuse ninjas, logging 7 shakes and 7 workouts. Dedicated divas, 5 shakes, 5 workouts. Stellar stars, logged workout or Shakeology every month. Comeback kids who like come back to the group after being absent. Day 1 dynamos logging their first whichever. And so like they're just, oh, you can't see, it sucks, but they're like super cute, and the rest is just white, so we can just add in names and or even just use these as is and tag them in the My Challenge tracker app, I guess, when you need to put their name on it. But I just thought those were really good ideas for recognition, because sometimes like I think it always has to be like something huge, and it doesn't have to be. So, yeah. That's all I thought of when you were talking, I guess. And then Tyler did post those forms that you were referring to.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, so I am in. I am like still transitioning to using the tracker, because I have like my own list in my planner, and then I'm like, why am I doing both?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just got like, I was getting in really good flow, and then we went on the trip, and I planned to work a lot on the trip, and we had no Wi-Fi. And now this week, like already it's Thursday tomorrow, I should start a new sheet, and I realized I haven't done it all week. I've been doing the things, but I haven't been tracking, and that is not good. So yeah.
That's same with me. I've been doing them, but I just haven't been writing it all down, and then I'll go back, and it's just time management too. So
that's why I like it, because it kind of just puts it into perspective, like, oh, I've spent way too much time on that, or I haven't spent enough time on that. And the part where I like it is sometimes my stories in a given day will get either really long or really short. And I like the checklist of like, oh, I shared my workout, shared a product, shared a meal. Oh, I didn't do a call to action today. Or I didn't do anything about my lifestyle, because I will tend to forget that one, because I don't want to be like the mom that's always like talking like to my phone in front of my kids. So sometimes I will forget to share my real life, and it does look like I'm just Beachbody. But that's because I'm putting that away the other times of the day. So I do like the list of things that we should kind of share every day that Carl has suggested. So,
you know, that's a good point too that I hadn't really thought about. Like, you know, this gives ideas for how long to spend, but also like to be more aware of what you're spending too much time on, because I can easily get lost in some of these and like spend an hour, and then before I know it, I don't have enough time for the stuff I really need to do on this list. So yeah, that's a good point.
I know.
Great.
I get so mad at myself because I think, well, I pretty much stay home, so I should have time to do all this stuff. But if I don't do it and plan it and do my little time slots, guess what? My kids get home from school, and guess what? Sarah's on the run. So guess what? Things don't get done then. And then I beat myself up, and it's like, ugh. So I do need the accountability too.
One thing I've started doing in my planner is, I know like Melanie Mitchell talks about time blocking all of your work time. And I just time block my work time every day from like 1:30 to 4. I write in Hustle for Joy. Like she has hers like each hour, like this is when she's inviting and this is when she's, but what I did start doing is every day in that time, I number it 1, 2, 3, and I write 3 things I want to get done during that time. So the first one is power hour in everyone, and then like I've been adding like certification or make this graphic, and I did that the 2 weeks before our trip, and you guys, I got so much accomplished. And that all goes back to like all of the time management things I've listened to Melanie train on, is like, and even like the Mel Robbins mindset thing, like write down at the beginning of the day what 3 things are most important to get done, and I got them done. And 3 seemed manageable. And even some days, like if I got 2 done, I'm like, holy shit, I got 2 things done. Whereas opposed to like, I used to just make a really long list and it seemed so overwhelming. So that has really helped me with time management.
That's good. I think a lot of like Shalene talks about your top 3. Brendan Burchard is a big top 3 person. So that's great. I start out well-intentioned with my 3, but I love the idea of even just in your time block instead of just like in your overall day. I need to do that.
Yeah. It was mind blowing to me because like I've heard it, but it's just one of the things I'm like, oh, I don't need to do it. And I probably say like, oh, I don't need to do it because I'm home all day, when really I just waste probably more time. But that made me super intentional. And then I felt very productive crossing those 3 things off. And then sometimes like if I did get 2 done, then I just move that one to the next day. And rather than making it 4, I got rid of something so that it was just 3 things. It really worked well.
Wow, that's good.
And I would be doing it this week but all I'm doing in my free time is napping because it's been a really long week. Anyways, well, thank you. Does anyone have any other questions or?
You get a picture?
Yeah. And I know like I'm going to be speaking on that Jackie's call on inviting and adding to my network or whatever. And I can share when that is with you guys. And then she's going to talk about the same thing. So like she'll have some ideas on how, like I used to think inviting was the hardest thing until I realized I was just overcomplicating it. It wasn't really hard. It's just that I didn't want to send the invite. So when she speaks to us, we'll get like some ideas for fresh inviting. So that will be good too. All right. Dina, you're always like in the dark.
Is it dark?
Yeah.
It doesn't
like your ring light or something. All right, smile. All right, thanks guys for making time for this tonight. Thanks for doing it.
Thanks.
You did a great job.
Yeah, thanks, Dina. It was really good.
Yes, you're welcome.
Congratulations.
All right.
Keep killing it.
Yeah, good job.
Yay.
Have a good rest of the week, everyone. Bye.
Good night.